give you 2 more hours each day, would you still have a challenge getting everything done?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and guess what? Can I give you 2 more hours? No, I can't, can I? That's not going to change. The only thing that's going to change about time is, do we turn our clocks back or do we turn them forward? That's it. So we have to learn to deal with the hours that we have. And that's going to take leadership. You're going to have to learn how to manage that time. So yes, a mindset for success. How am I going to get everything done in the time that I'm allotted? And you know what? It's going to be, I'm going to get it all done. What's some other things that people say, what does it take to be successful?
Action.
Okay, action. Why, Mike?
You gotta do something about it.
Okay, so you have to do something about it. You can't just sit and wish for it to happen, can you? Well, how much happens if you wait around for it? Or what happens if you wait around for it?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing happens until someone takes action. Nothing happens till someone takes action. Now I'm going to take it a step further. Are we in the sales business?
Yes.
How many of you knew or thought someday you would be selling something? No one. And you know what else? You probably thought you'd never be selling insurance. When I went to college, I knew 2 things. I had a business degree, and I knew I wasn't going to ever sell anything, and for sure I wouldn't peddle anything like insurance. And guess what? After 4 years of a different career, I realized a couple things. Nothing happens till somebody sells something. You understand what I just said? Nothing happens till someone sells something. So everything we do in life is selling or not. But the whole thing with selling is, it doesn't happen until you take action. What's another?
Determination.
Determination. All right, so someone says they've got to be determined. Now, what does that mean? What does determined mean? Say that again. Who said that? Oh,
You really have to get yourself into it.
you have to get yourself into it, okay? So you're going to be determined. What helps a person become determined? Maybe take it that way. Determined is, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to take the action. This one goal that you wrote down for next week, you're saying to yourself, I'm determined to achieve it. What does that take to be determined, though?
Motivation.
Very good. And I'm going to use a couple things here with that motivation. I'm going to put motivation down. And you know what else? In parentheses, passion. You have to have a passion to make this happen. A belief to make this happen. You've got to want to make this happen. And if you want to make it happen, then you're motivated to make it happen. And if you're motivated to make it happen, you're willing to take the action steps necessary to make it happen. And to do that, you will find the time to take the action steps to make it happen. What are other things that help people become successful?
Self-commitment.
Self-commitment. Tell me more.
Or you have to know what you do, and then you have to commit on what you want to.
Let's take that. I'm just going to, because of room here, put self. Are you saying I've got to have a certain confidence in myself? I've got to have a belief in myself. I have to have a passion that I can accomplish these things. I'm going to be able to make these things happen myself. Is that kind of where you're coming from?
Yeah.
A belief in yourself that you can make it happen. A belief in yourself that you can make it happen. How many of you And we remember things like when you were growing up, and people would tell you when you were a little kid, don't touch the stove because you'll burn yourself. Okay, don't write on the wall or you'll be grounded. You know, those kinds of things. Well, pretty soon we start developing an attitude of, ooh, I better not do things because I might make a mistake. I might get punished. I might burn my hand. And what happens? This self takes a back seat. It's all of a sudden, it's not what I can do, it's what I can't do. So if I hear what you're saying is, yes, you've got to have a belief in yourself. I can do this. And I'm passionate about making it happen. I'm demotivated because this is going to be good for me, my team, my family, my client, my etc. I'll take the necessary action steps and I'm going to find the time to make it happen. Other reasons why people will be successful.
Willing to learn.
Willingness to learn?
Yeah,
Okay,
willingness to
let's go back to what Ong said when she first opened this up tonight. I want you to have an open mind. Okay? An open mind, meaning you have a willingness to think outside the box. You have a willingness to learn new things. And here's why this is important. So I'm going to put down open mind. Here's why this is important. If you do not have the open mind, then you're going to resist doing things that feel uncomfortable to you. You know what I mean by that? All of a sudden, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not very good at that. Or that's not my forte. Or what if? Whereas the open mind is, well, wait a minute. Why can't I do this? What will, there should be no reason for me. I'm going to be open-minded to learning new things, to trying new things, to taking action that may not be comfortable normally for me. These are all what things that successful people do. What about some other things? Knowledge. Why is this important?
You gotta know what you do.
Gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing. This whole thing about if you don't make your goal, you gotta walk to work. Okay? Think of when driving a car. Don't you have to know how that car is going to function? You got to know at least where to turn it on. Got to know where the turn signal is. Don't we get in there? So in our business, what knowledge do we need?
Sell.
Say that?
Sell.
Knowledge how to sell. Okay. What else?
Products.
All right. Let's go. Product knowledge. Sales skills. What else? Experience. Okay, why do you say experience? Okay, so she's saying we have to also have some experience under knowledge. What else? What about people knowledge? In our business, are we in a relationship business?
Yes.
Does it help to know if you're sitting with a mom and dad, who the decision maker is? Recognizing, if you're sitting there talking to dad the whole time because you think he's the decision maker, really it's mom that controls the checkbook, ooh, maybe we're looking at the wrong person. If we know someone is more blue-collar, hard-working versus white-collar office, maybe our terminology should be different. Maybe we should be giving examples of what accomplishments are that they're trying to, in their language, in terms of, well, I'm the white shirt guy, you're the blue-collar guy, so let me tell you about, well, no. Don't we have to be able to read people? And do you know where that reading people comes from? experience. And the experience, here's what I mean by that. Success in our business, especially just starting out. Now there's a group of people just went into that back room. First timers. You remember when you were the first timer? Okay. You remember what your first few months in the business were like? Were you a little scared? What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Those types of things. Well, there's a certain amount of pain you have to go through in this business before you can be successful. Now, that pain is, I'm afraid that I will be rejected. I'm afraid I'll do or say the wrong thing. I'm afraid they'll say no, and I'm afraid they won't be there. There's a certain amount of fear. There's a certain amount of pain we have to go through. Now, how long should that pain last? That depends, because in our business, we can measure pain by the number of people we see. Because every time we see someone, isn't the next time easier?
Yeah.
And then the next time easier, and easier, and easier, and easier. In other words, the pain starts to go away. And now every one of you has a different threshold for pain. For some of you, it might be your pain level is 20 people, 20 interviews, 20 appointments. Someone else, it might be the first 50 appointments or whatever. But you finally reach a point where there's no more pain. You feel confident. You have a mindset for success. So here comes the next question. How long should that pain last?
That's depend on you.
Should it last 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? If it's measured by appointments, let's say it takes 50 appointments to get over the pain. Again, how long do you want the pain to last? If it's 50 appointments, get the 50 appointments out of the way in 2 months. Get 10 appointments a week. Boom. Be done with the pain. In your 3rd month, boom, you're ready to go. Or stretch that pain out. Don't see your 50 people for a year. Right? And you're going to feel miserable the whole year. And you're wondering, why are other people successful? Because they got over the pain. They got over the pain. They had the experience of learning the people skills. If we were to measure these, and I'm going to put, I'm going to put also on here STP in our business. What does that stand for? See the people. Okay? See the people. So here is a mindset for success in our business. See the people. And keep seeing the people. All right? Now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you wait and see the people after you have your product knowledge, after you have your sales skills, and you got some experience and you have your people skills? Does all of this have to happen before this happens?
Yeah.
What do you think? I hear a yes and I see a head shaking no. Why is your head shaking no?
I say it's simultaneously, so you're learning on that while you're actually doing or seeing people. So you're gaining that experience, you're getting inspired, you're learning.
He's saying it's simultaneous. You're gaining all of this experience as you see the people. Whereas if we do this first, are we ever going to be totally knowledgeable in this business?
No.
So what are we going to wait around for? Till we're totally smart and knowledgeable? And you know what ends up? It's an excuse. It's an excuse. I don't want to see the people, but we don't tell Case that. We don't tell our Ong or Baying that. We just say, I'm not ready. I don't know enough. That's why I'm not seeing people. You know what I mean, don't you? So what do successful people do? See the people while this is going on. How many of you have heard the old adage, successful people do what unsuccessful people won't do?
Yeah.
Heard that?
Yeah.
Successful people do what unsuccessful people won't do. It doesn't make a difference what industry. The successful people remember action, take the action. They're going to do the things that unsuccessful people won't. And in our business, unsuccessful people, I don't know if I really want to see the people. Now, let's flip this a little bit. What are reasons, I'm going to just move this, why people aren't successful in this business? We already know one, right? They won't see the people. Why not? Why not?
Scared.
Scary. Fear. Now, fear. We're all humans. We all have a certain fear. What are fears that stand in our way or prevent us from seeing people? Can you think of some?
Reject.
Fear of, yes, fear of failure. All right? Fear of failure. Now, specifically, he said rejection. Why? Tell me what you mean.
They might deny your.
They might say no? You mean people might say no to us?
Yes.
Doesn't everyone we call about insurance want to talk to us about buying insurance? They don't? No kidding. So when Case and all your team people hired you, they didn't tell you had to add more phone lines and unlimited minutes because of all the people they're going to call you to buy insurance? No, we have to go out and find people who will be willing to sit down and talk to us on a favorable basis about insurance. Understand? Find people willing to sit down and talk to us on a favorable basis about talking about their financial situation. And guess what? That's the hardest part of your job. Being knowledgeable about a product, you can do that. Being able to fill out the application, you can do that. You're going to be trained on that. Actually knowing the various product, having product knowledge, being able to recommend it, you'll be able to do that. The hard part of your job is to get people to sit down and talk to you on a favorable basis about it. And so here's what happens, and you're exactly right. This fear of failure is personal rejection. It's no fun being told no. And you know what happens when we're told no? We take it personally. Oh, they don't like me. Oh, did I spill on my tie? It's not my outfit they don't like. Why don't people like me? So we're also learning on See the People. Is it a numbers game? In other words, we know there are going to be so many no's. So we're going to say, we want to focus on the yeses. And how many yeses does it take to be successful? And the longer you're in this business, you'll know how many people you have to see to get to how many people are going to say yes. But here's the challenge. I remember when I first started in this business, back in 19... And my manager, my team leader said, John, until you get experienced, until you have all this figured out, and all the pain, you're going to be seeing at least 10 people, or asking 10 people to see you, and only 3 will say yes. He was using a generalization here, the 10-3-1. He said, you get on the phone, and you ask 10 people if you can visit with them about their insurance needs, only 3 will say yes. And of those 3, if you follow the sales skills that you're trained on here, 1 out of every 3 will say yes. And he said, stick with that, and you will be successful. I said, great. And I went out there, and I got on the phone, and I called, oh, by the way, how many dials do you have to get to find 10 people at home? Is that a different thing? It's not dial 10 times and get 10 phone recordings, is it? I got to ask 10 people. That might take 30 phone calls, right? So now I'm dialing, get my 10 people. And sure enough, no, no, yes, no, no. And you know what? I had 7 people would say no. And I didn't feel good about that. I didn't feel good about it. But I know my manager said, I got to do this each and every day because I'm probably going to have 2 or, now this was a full-time position, 2 to 3 people every day I've got to be sitting in front of. That means if I'm going to sit in front of 3 people each day, I've had to talk to 10 people to get them to do that. Each and every day, 5 days a week. So I said to my manager, okay, I understand. I'll do it again tomorrow. And I get on the phone, 30 more dials, 10 more people, 7 said no. And you know what? Here's what happens with people on the rejection. Pretty soon, since there's more no's than yeses, people start going, oh, why don't people want to see me? I thought I'm selling the greatest product in the world. That's what my boss tells me. Everyone should want this. Don't they like me? What's the, oh, no, no. And after a while, you know the best way to eliminate the no's? There's a way. Don't call. Stop calling. And no one will say no to you. Which brings us back to fear of rejection, fear of failure. Pretty soon we stop calling because it's easier. It's not my comfort zone to be hearing someone tell me no. So all of a sudden, this is the biggest obstacle in my way. Remember how Case told you to write down now what are obstacles that get in your way? And of course he brought up, well, do I have to arrange for a babysitter, or, you know, will I have enough time, or, you know, another obstacle is, how do you feel about rejection? How do you feel about calling people up on the phone and being told no? Because you know what a mindset of success is? The person that doesn't look at the 7 no's looks only at what?
1 yes.
The yeses. I got 3 yeses today. Wow, I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. I got 3 more today. Instead of 7 people said. Do you see the difference in mindset of success here? So we're going to come back to this mindset yet. We have fear of failure. Are there any other fears? You know one you probably don't even think about? Fear of success. Now, why would I say that? Some people don't know how to handle success. Really? I've never made this much money before. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do with it. And now, Case is going to expect me to go out and do it again. Or Piang's going to say, great job, now do it again. Oh, I don't know if I can do it again. I don't know how to be successful. Really, you don't have to raise your hand, but do sometimes you feel that way? And you know what happens? Sometimes we'll sit and just walk around with that check. And all of a sudden it's 2 weeks and you haven't made another call since. Because we don't know. It's when you're successful, it's when you've got to really kick it in the derriere and keep going after it again and again and again, because your attitude is the best it's ever going to be. Wow, how do I get another one of these? Oh, I got to see the people. I got to go see the people. And that's where people say, I don't know how to deal with success now. Well, I did, so they're all want to come see me. And do they? And how many people call you up and say, oh, you got any more new insurance for me? I want to buy some more. No, we have to be the see the people proactive. All right, so now we've got this fear. That's one thing that gets in the way. So we have fear of failure, fear of success. What are some other fears? What are some other fears? I've got a couple of them here. It's actually a fear of the unknown. And the whole thing about the unknown is, for many of you, you aren't sure, am I really in this as a career? Is it part-time? Where are we going to live? Do I want another house? Everything's kind of up in the air. And when things are up in the air, you have no vision for where your life is going. And if you have no vision for where your life is going, you're sitting there in this whole kind of unknown state, and you're not sure if you're passionate. Remember how we use the word passion here? Am I really passionate about this business? Am I passionate about what I'm doing? Am I motivated to make this happen? Because I don't know where I'm going. But if you know where you're going, and here's what I mean by vision. Not just goals for the end of this year. Where do you want to be in life 3 years from now? 5 years from now? 10 years from now? Do you want a new home? Do you want a new car? Do you want more kids? Do you want to be out of debt? What's your vision? And then with that in mind, you can say, I think, looking at your check, I think this is to be accomplished. You need to have a passion for where you are going in your life, both personally and professionally. Both personally and professionally. So it's one thing to set goals based on, well, I want so many applications this week, I want so much paid for business, or I want so much new recruits. It's another thing to say, where do I want to be personally? Where do I want to be with my family? Dreams. Have a dream. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. Now, it's going to take some hard work. And it's going to take some time. But if I commit to it, if I'm passionate, and I take the action necessary to do it, what's to stand in the way of it really happening? Short of your health. Because think of it this way. Obstacles that you were writing down, some obstacles that prevent people from being successful are out of our control. If you get Ebola and you're sick in the hospital, you might not get next week's goal. But what control do we have over that? See what I mean? Or what happens if a tornado, takes out all our houses and stuff like that? Well, we have no control over that. Our attitude. It's all in between our own ears. Do you believe that you can do it? I'm going to give you a little story. It's a story about a small town where an old man and a younger man were walking down the main street of this town. And all of a sudden, a car pulled up and said, could we talk to you for a minute? And a person got out of the car and said, I'm new here. I came off the freeway. I saw your beautiful town. And we're thinking, my family and I, of relocating to a new town. And your town looks so beautiful. What kind of people do you have in this town? And the old man responded. He said, well, what kind of people did you have in the town you would be coming from? They said, oh, selfish people, people that found they had poor attitudes, they were not very friendly. It just was not a good place to live. That's why we're looking. And the old man said, well, that's the kind of people you're going to find in this town too. And he said, what? I said, yeah, so if you're expecting a miracle, this probably isn't the town. And the guy gets in his car and drives off. Well, the young guy that was with the old man was kind of puzzled. I wasn't sure how, until all of a sudden another car drove up. Another person got out and said, do you mind if I ask you a question? And they said, sure. They said, we're coming from out of town. We're looking for a new place to live. What a beautiful town you have. What kind of people live in this town? And the old man asked him again. This other person, what kind of people are the town you came from? Oh, they're the most wonderful people you could ever meet. Friendly neighbors, help you in time of need, the most honest, caring, fun-loving people you could ever meet. We're going to hate to leave. And the old man said, welcome to our town. That's the kind of people we have here. And the guy was excited, said, I can't wait to go tell my family about this town. Well, now the young kid said to the old man, wait a minute here, I'm confused. You told one guy that they were only unfriendly people, etc., in this town, and now you tell these people, what? Because he said it's all in your frame of mind. What you expect, what's in here, what you see out there, is what you got in here. If you think people are unfriendly, uncaring, you're going to find them every place you go. If you think people are positive, helpful, whatever, you're going to find those people too. It's a mindset for success, which boils down to
Attitude.
your attitude. So what's your attitude? What's your attitude? And what's your attitude, first of all, about life? The town you live in, your family. Are you looking at all the rotten things that happen in your family? Are you constantly saying, phew, bought this brand new car, and the first thing I found out that I could have paid $1,000 less if I got it from another dealership. I got took. Versus, wow, you had to see my new car. I don't care what I paid for it. I feel good in this car. See what I mean? It's all about attitude. Same thing about, and I'm going to bring it down to a different level. How many of you are married? Okay. How many of you married above your station? Married the best person you could possibly marry. And it's attitude. Because there are days. There are days. Oh, jeez. But you know what? You talk yourself into it. My wife and I have a common little thing we go back and forth on all the time. I tell people, left and right, they say, you married? Yeah, and I married above my station. I married the best possible. My wife tells people, when they ask her, are you married? She says, I married the greatest guy. Now, we joke at home about this. We do it to talk ourselves into it. I mean, my wife and I talk about that. But you know what? We keep telling ourselves that we did, and what happens?
And you
We
did.
end up believing it. We end up believing it. Now, I married her for a reason. She married me for a reason. Just because things change doesn't mean the reason we got married really changed. So we keep telling ourselves, this was the best thing we could possibly do. And so you know what we're going to do with this attitude? We constantly tell ourselves we're good at what we do, we have the attitude and mindset to be successful, and we do that through something called affirmations. What's an affirmation? What's an affirmation? It's telling yourself in times of doubt things you know to be true in times of success. In other words, are you really good? Am I a good listener? I would say, maybe I'm going to an appointment, and I'm going to talk about that insurance stuff again, and I'm having doubt. Oh, gee, am I going to, fear of failure, fear of rejection. But what if I know I'm a great listener? What if I know I'm a good relationship builder? I am with my kids, I am with my neighbors, Why can't I be that same person when I'm meeting a new prospect? So you know what I do? I tell myself in time of doubt, in other words, I'm going to this appointment. You know what? Why am I afraid of this? I'm a good listener. I'm a good relationship builder. I have good people skills. This is right in my wheelhouse. This is what I am good at. Which brings me right back to attitude. Do I have a positive attitude or is it a negative attitude? Now, is it going to possibly snow in the next couple weeks? How do you feel about that?
Great.
Great! All right. Maggie and I were having a discussion earlier today. We aren't looking forward to it. But you know what? We can tell ourselves, we are in a state with 4 unbelievable seasons. And that first snowfall is usually the prettiest and whatever. And so we should relish in it. Those of you that live in other states. Now, for example, Baying says she met this woman from Georgia. Who made you? Anyone ever lived in Georgia? There's some beautiful things about Georgia. But their seasons are totally different here. It's totally different. Southern California, people in Southern California, as beautiful as that is, their seasons don't change. How boring. How boring. But isn't it all about attitude? And that's what we do here. Tell yourself in times of doubt what at other times you are confident about. And so here's a suggestion for you. And I don't mean this to sound egotistical, but sometime write down about maybe 3 to 6 different things that you're really good at. Things, positive things about you. Example, like the one I told you, I'm a good listener. I'm a good relationship builder. Different things like that. And then what you should do with that list? Put it on your mirror in the morning. Let it sit there somewhere in your bathroom. And every time you get up, oh, here goes another day. I got to call more people. And there's going to be that list. Here's what I'm good at. You can even just say, I'm a nice person. That's a great affirmation. Put it down. I'm a nice person. And you tell yourself each and every day. Now, if you happen to be religious and you pray, what's wrong with getting up in the morning and just praying and saying, thank you, Lord, for just letting me be part of this great day. And thank you for the opportunities you're giving me where I can be using the skills that you've given me, like being a good listener, and guess what? You start to feel good about who you are that day. And then all of a sudden those no's don't seem as bad. Yeah, we still don't like them. Maggie and I still aren't going to go out and enjoy shoveling snow off the thing, except the first time when the kids want to go out and help. The first one's exciting, but after a while it's going to get old. But we don't think of it that way. Wow, what a great opportunity. There are people in California that would kill to have a white Christmas.
Yeah.
They would kill to have one. I love it when I have a cousin that lives in California. And she always has told all her relatives out here, keep sending, when at Christmas time, send the Christmas cards and Christmas pictures of the Christmas tree with snow. Or Florida. How many of you have been to Florida? I've spent 2 Christmases in Florida. You know what it's like hanging Christmas lights on a palm tree? Not the same. It's not the same. So it's about attitude. So now we're coming back to this mindset of success. What are you going to do about your attitude? Where is your attitude? Now, I know some people, and well, let's put it this way. How many of you know people whose attitude is in the tank all the time? You know those kind of people? Are they fun to even be around?
No.
No. So do you hang around with them?
No.
Here's one of the challenges of having friends with negative attitudes. The more you hang around them, the more it just wears on you. And they start to drag you down. They start to drag you down. I'm going to change this a little bit to the University of Minnesota basketball team. A former coach who I worked with for a number of years said that when he was recruiting people to his team, like you would be recruiting people to your team, he said, I was always recruiting to replace the 20% worst attitudes on the team. He said because that 20% always kept dragging the rest of the team down. It wasn't so much the talent that I was trying to recruit to. I mean, I wanted good talent. But he said, I wanted new attitudes. And I wanted to replace the attitudes. Now, it's courageous that you might have to go then tell a kid he's being cut the next year. But he said, I can't have that attitude. You have to be courageous when you, all of a sudden, a friend starts saying, where have you been? I haven't seen you in whatever. I should have known you. Because it's his attitude. And you made a courageous decision. You say, you know what? But really what you're saying is, you dragged me down. Now, you can take the mission position and say, I'm going to help that person with their attitude. And you can work on their attitude. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you've got the upper hand. In other words, if they start winning, because that bad attitude just keeps drawing you down. When I first started in this business, in 19... I was single. And how many times have you had appointments at night? How many times have you been in someone's house at the kitchen table at this time of night? Or look at you here at this meeting. And my single friends would say, hey, we're all going to go to, we're all going to... I said, I can't. Why? You got to work. You got to what? What kind of job is that? Are they paying you double time? Overtime? Well, no, I don't get paid unless I make... What? Why would you ever go out and do that if they aren't sure you're going to get overtime? Attitude. No. And you know what? Some of those people, they come up and they visit me at my cabin. They come up and they ride on my boat. They come up and they drink my liquor, eat my food, all of which they don't have because they didn't have the attitude and time and mindset for success. It was more fun to go out and party, right?
Yes.
And guess what? Can you stretch that out? When do we roll out of that? We could party till we're 50. And then all of a sudden we look at our goals. Where are we? Oh, I think I'll go to John's. He's got a cabin. He's got a boat. His liquor is something I even recognize the name of, type of a thing. That's what you're doing. You are in one of the most unbelievable career opportunities you can have. And I say career because some of you, it's not your primary career. But I'm going to call it a career because you have a career to have a real impact on other people. Remember, these people don't want to talk about death and dying. You're the one that's getting in front of them to do that. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So here you are. And I'll bet many of you have already had this experience where they've resisted this, oh, we're going to have insurance type of thing. And then all of a sudden, they feel so good about the decision they made because of you. Can you just see the relief on their faces? Now they know that they have enough insurance to make sure that all the final expenses and so on and so forth, they have enough to do this, they have enough to do that. They don't have to worry about writing letters to the rest of the family to all contribute money for Grandpa's funeral. Do we need help? Well, how much are you spending? Well, we need help. But when they know they don't have to do that, and they can celebrate because they have someone like you that had the mindset to be successful by helping them. You had to overcome your fears. You had to overcome rejection. Even overcome fear of success. And that fear of success again is, write down where you want to be. Do you want to, in our case, do you want a cabin? Do you want it? And some of you will be different. Hunting lodge? Okay. Fishing boat? Who was it? Was the big fishing boat? Where is it? Why not? How about in 3 years? How about in 5 years? Those of you that have kids, what about their future? Being able to help them. achieve the college education they really want because you can afford to do it. Now, we can even be more selfish than that. It's that new pair of shoes that got at Macy's. Right, ladies? I can be selfish, but get what? It's all about you have a vision for success, and you know what it takes to be successful. You have to have an attitude. Now, if you have an attitude, and you're convincing yourself, sometimes we just have to talk ourselves into it. Guess what happens? The fears start to go away. The fears start to go away. And they're going to go away because we're going to feel more comfortable about seeing the people. And remember that pain we have to go through? You've reached your pain threshold. For some of you, it's going to be different. 20 interviews, 30 interviews, 40 interviews, but it doesn't have to be years. Get it over with. Get to the point where you feel really good about what you're doing when you see people. I have the attitude that I'm going to make this work. I have the attitude that I'm going to be successful. Now, successful might mean only one out of every few people, all right? Because are we going to get them all? Is everyone going to say yes to us? No. But does that mean we're a failure?
Nope.
No. Celebrate the successes. What did Case put on the board here? And what did you, wait a minute, I'm learning. 3 figures. We're celebrating that kind of stuff. And so, and you know why Case, there's no secret about this. Case is no dummy. You know what this is all about? Why putting these on? Every little win. Even he said, 2 figures. Give me a 2 figures. It's a win. It's all about affirming that you're good at what you are, and now you've kept setting your goals higher till you want 3 figures every week, 4 figures every week. And there's nothing to stop you from doing it if you have the mindset for success and you, what?
See the
See the
people.
people. Because nothing's going to happen till you take the action step. That appointment's not going to happen until you open the door and step outside. You can say, well, I don't want to go today. I hear it's kind of, that first inch of snow and the traffic's going to be tied up, and so this is not a good day to go see them. Or, you know what, I think the baby's got a fever, and so, I better wait until they feel better. Or, it's just not a good time. I think I'm coming down with a cold. I think negatively. What about positively? This is going to be a great night. This family is going to be so excited that I'm there because I'm good at what I do. I'm a good listener. Whatever you are. You find out what it is. Okay? You don't have to be the best speaker. You don't have to be the best looking, although this crew, I don't know how anyone could say no to you. You're also good looking. But you don't have to be. You don't have to have the designer shoes on. You don't have to have you just have to be there because you're going to help these people achieve things that they can't do without you. And you're good at what you do. And you believe it. You believe it. You have a passion for it. You're motivated to make this happen. You're determined to be successful. Which leads us to, how many of you are where you want to be goal-wise for 2014? Oh, maybe a few of you are a little short of where you'd like to be. Now, what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to have a mindset for success. But I want to be very realistic about this. We're going to put, pie in the sky type of thing. If you want to accomplish certain things between now and the end of the year that will make you successful, that will put money in your pocket, that will help the other people, when does an application have to be submitted? What month are we in? We're in the first week of November. We're going to get this as an application on December 20th, going to get issued this year?
Maybe not.
Probably not. So we've probably got maybe a 4-week window to get business issued this year. So here's what you're going to look at. What was my goal for the end of 2014? And where am I? Now, what am I going to have to do here to get to that goal? Well, the first thing comes our time. We've got a limited amount of time, maybe 4 weeks to get this done. It would be a miracle if you get anything done, in the last part of December. So now here's another goal. Here, Case made you write down that goal for a reason, to get you in the frame of mindset, that you can accomplish goals. And he told you how to do it. And you know what else he did? He gave you a time frame to do it in. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tell you, you've got 4 weeks right now that you can make things happen to finish this year really good. Now that will mean, what do you suppose you're going to have to do in those next 4 weeks?
The
Meet
people.
people. And that might be different for each of you. And it's going to have to fit into your time. But maybe, and I'm just throwing things out there. Maybe you say, hey, if I can be in front of 5 new people each week for the next 4 weeks. 5 new, in other words, what do you normally do in a week? I don't know what, you have your own number. How many people do you see in a week? Add 5 more. 1 more a day. Or 5 more a week. I'm going to commit myself, I'm going to be motivated to see 5 more people than I normally do in the next 4 weeks. 20 people. Now, if your average is, let's just say they're only 1 out of 4, that's 5 policies. And we just clap for on 5 policies, right? And out of those 5 policies, they can make a huge difference in terms of your goal achievement for the end of the year, your pocketbook, right? What Christmas presents you can buy or not buy, or those designer shoes that you do want to buy at Macy's type of thing. But more importantly, what do you think that will do if you accomplish that? To your attitude. Would you feel awfully good about yourself if you could make that happen? Now, is it going to be easy?
No.
No. No one is going to tell you it's going to be easy. But will it be worth it?
Yes.
That's the key. No one says this is the easy. If this was an easy, this could be the easiest job in the world if you want it to be. You won't be paid anything, but it's pretty easy. But if you want to make money, it's going to be a hard job. It's going to be hard. But you have the mindset that says, I'm successful. I'm good at this. And I'll share some things with you. I've had the opportunity to, between Mike and Ong and Pai Ying and with Case and Maggie, this is a special group of people that's leading this organization. They wouldn't allow you to come in and work for it if they didn't have confidence that you're that kind of person. And you are that kind of person. You can be successful. Because do you think they want negative people in this organization?
No.
Do you want to be in this organization if it's got a lot of negative people?
No.
Wow. And so they believe in you. And I believe in them. And I know that they go out of their way to help you. So if you've got, what do I do here? Ong, help. Will Ong help? Yes. Pai Ying, help? Yes. Will Mike help? Yes. Because they want you to have a positive attitude about, I am good and successful in this business. So I'm going to have you do a couple things. Number 1, have you got a big all-day training event coming up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who, remember what else we had up here? Make sure I get the... Is that going to happen on that day?
Yeah.
Yes.
You should have a thirst for every bit of knowledge you can get. Every opportunity that you can get. That's part of the equation. The rest is up to
You.
you. See the people. And then you know what else is going to happen? You get those, whatever your number is, 5 extra people a week, and you make that happen. On July 24th, on January 24th, there's going to be a celebration. And there's going to be a celebration that every one of you is going to be lifted up saying, I was a part of this great organization where I saw the people, and selfishly, we were very good at what we do. Much less the impact you had on other people's lives along the way. I can't tell you the number of times I was hugged and kissed and whatever because families felt good about making tough decisions regarding how much do we need for this, how much do we need for that. And they don't like to talk about it. But you're there to help them do that. I said this is going to be a typical training. This is just going to be, as I gave you the challenge ahead, leave here tonight with a commitment and a resolve to do something different. And those two things were, one, get that goal done that you just wrote down, come back next Tuesday, and I want you, every one of you, to raise your hand and throw that sheet of paper up in Casey's face and said, did it. Did it. And then you don't have to buy them lunch. Okay? You know what else? Then it goes back. The second challenge I gave you. Wrong ones. The second challenge I gave you was make sure you have a mindset for success. All about attitude. All about it. I'm going to take a few minutes because I told them that we would get you out of here. I would only do an hour. But I'm willing to take a couple of questions if you have any. If you don't worry. Just go back with a commitment, with a mindset of success. Questions?